conquistar, a las naciones alcanzar, a declarar palabras de fe y al cautivo proclamar que este es el tiempo de ver lo que Dios tiene hoy para tu vida, de hablar palabras para que otros cobren vida y declarar que así sucederá. Este es el tiempo de gritar fuerte que los muros no se caigan, hablarle a la peña y que brote el agua y declarar. I wonder, wide-eyed and mystified, may we be just like a child, staring at the beauty of our King. May we never lose our wonder. May we never lose our wonder.
Hello guys. What's up? It's me, Sarai, here on the radio for Youth on Fire for His Heart at 1470 AM. We are so happy, so excited to be here. I wasn't here last week.
She left me alone.
I went through a little dilemma with traffic. It was pretty bad, and well, I'm here now, and I'm so happy. I was running too right now, and I was like, oh my gosh. But we're so glad to be here and have this message and be in this. I'm just so excited to be back. You know, it feels like when you miss a week, you're just like, whoa. It feels like almost like a month or something, and you know, but I'm so happy you guys are tuning in, for you guys to just feed your soul and stuff, and I couldn't be more honored and happy that, you know, we're here today.
Yeah. Hola muchachos, bueno, habla Josie Andrade, esa era mi compañera.
Oh, sorry, I didn't introduce her. Should have been like.
Mi compañera Saraí Morales. Realmente estamos muy contentas de estar de regreso aquí una vez más en la 1470 AM. Siempre digo y no me canso de decirlo, es un honor, es un privilegio poder estar aquí en este programa dedicado especialmente a todos los jóvenes, a todos los jóvenes de solteros, son doncellas, solteras. Eso es lo que nos hace jóvenes. Yo creo ya cuando se casan les dicen dorca, les dicen señora, les dicen señor, pero somos jóvenes, aleluya.
Yeah.
So, realmente me siento muy feliz y agradecida con Dios, más que nada por un día hermoso. Una vez más, y estamos aquí todos los jueves de 3 a 3 y media. Estamos patrocinados por la librería Vida Nueva en la 2909 North Central en Chicago, Illinois. Y también nos pueden ver en vivo en www.radiovisionchicago.com. Nos pueden ver, no solamente nos pueden escuchar, pero nos pueden ver en cualquier parte del mundo. Todos tenemos internet, así que todos podemos compartir realmente esto. Si un mensaje ha sido de bendición para tu vida, compártelo. No es para ser famoso, para nosotros hacernos famosos, sino para hacerlo a él famoso. So es un placer estar aquí de regreso una vez más.
Yeah. She just added a few things to what I said. So, you know, just that we're sponsored by
Librería Vida Nueva,
a Christian bookstore, guys. So they have some English material here too. So if you guys want to look into
stuff.
that, yeah, it's really big. But yeah, just like Josie said, it's a beautiful day out. It seems like the cold weather is starting to little by little die out, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this new spring season that God has given us this year.
Hey, it's a season. It's a new season coming, like on the natural side, but also on the spiritual side. So be ready.
Yes, and as you guys could tell, I'm a little sick. I find like that I sound like really like on the mic, so I'm like, just in case.
You can't really hear
I was
it.
like, my voice hasn't changed, guys. I just my nose is kind of stuffy.
It's the same, Sarah.
Yeah. So you know, actually, this past week I was really excited to be here because I knew what Josie was going to share about, and I was really excited about what she wanted to share to you guys about, and it's just something I totally completely agree with. And I had something in mind too, so we kind of just wanted to she did hers last Thursday, and I'm sure she was on fire, and she was awesome, because that's what Josie is always. She's awesome and on fire. So but just this week I told her something that's been on my heart, and something that I think the Lord just revealed to me recently, was the condition of your heart. And I went through some things, not to go in detail, but that made me really lack the trust in people, and in terms of I don't know if I should trust you, or because I had been emotionally, I had been something had happened, and it causes me to lack the trust in people. I felt that God was taking me through a healing process, and just basically he just telling me every day that he was there for me and everything, and it was all great. But coming this week, and I believe it was Friday, I was praying and stuff, and lately, just to share a little bit about me, just for you guys to know where this message is coming from, I had been struggling a lot in the things I wanted to do in this year, and really just struggling with God, and just telling him how hard it was to just give him, not just to give him that, but to think that he was going to help me provide and everything that he had promised he would, because I know I'm not only speaking it to myself when I say this, but a lot of times when people come and they give you a word and they say, hey, God is going to use you so great, God is going to do this with you and this with you, you're really good for one day, because you keep on thinking about the word, and then the next few days is when you're struggling. And the thing is that when a prophetic word, or a word, is given out to you, it's I'm going to say in Spanish, because now I can't find the word in English, se desata. So there's basically resistance, because the enemy doesn't want you to fulfill your purpose. So basically I think that's what was happening in me, and I was struggling and saying, God, how are you going to do this, and how are you going to do that? And the Lord revealed something really great to me, and saying, Sarah, just like you lack the trust in people, you're lacking the trust in me, and I'm not gonna hurt you, and I'm not gonna throw away your dreams to the trash. I have placed desires in your heart for a reason, and I'm not gonna leave you. So I told Josie basically what I wanted to talk to you about is how the condition of our heart is not only on the emotional side, you with people, but it's also your spiritual. How's your spiritual heart, the connection to the Father? And that's what we kind of want to talk, and I'm going to let Josie talk, because I see her really close to the mic. So
I just wanted so much to translate. That's
oh, okay, go ahead.
Well, just to summarize, solamente para resumir lo que acaba de decir, lo que vamos a hablar hoy es simplemente Sara estaba compartiendo como es algo de que Dios le reveló, y simplemente una situación por la que ella estaba pasando, y como Dios le dijo que no, porque es que confíe en él, así como ella ha desconfiado de la gente, no significa que no tiene que confiar en Dios. So es básicamente vamos a hablar de cómo no solamente irnos por las emociones, sino por el lado espiritual. Y simplemente ella estaba compartiendo de dónde vino
Yeah. I had heard something a long time ago, and it just came back to me right now. And it said, your reflection with people reflects the relationship you have with God. And I didn't realize that. And it makes completely sense to me right now, because, because I am the way I am with people, it just shows that my connection with God in certain areas is like that. And, and it's a blessing. It's something so beautiful when God is like, I'm not angry at you. I'm not, mad at you. I'm proud of you. I want to do this in your life. So I just wanted to share a little bit, guys, of things that I was reading and it was basically dying to self. You know, really, what I wanted to say is surrendering your dreams to God and letting Him take control does not necessarily mean that He's not going to give you what you want, but He's going to give you what's best for you. And I think a lot of the times we think that if we give everything to God, He's going to take it away and He's going to give you something you don't want. And the truth is that God is not like that. You know, in the Bible, which I should have brought that verse because it just came to me, it says, if you who are bad want good things for your children, what not me that, you know, that I'm perfect? Wouldn't I want really good things for you guys? And I think a lot of us have that idea that God just wants to take away from us. And my God, the God that I know, He's not a taker, but He's a giver. Yeah, you do surrender a lot of things to Him, but He gives you so much more. So I was reading through Galatians and, you know, just Galatians 2, because I was telling Josie that Galatians has some really good stuff about, you know, surrendering yourself to Christ. And in Galatians 2, I'm actually going to start reading from 19, because I hadn't realized that I had highlighted through 19. It says, for through the law I died to the law so that I may live for God. I have been crucified with Christ and no longer live, but Christ lives in me. The life I now live in the body, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave Himself to me. I do not set aside the grace of God, for righteousness could be gained through the law. Christ died for nothing. Which, you know, I'm going to let Josie.
En Gálatas 2:19 al 21 dice, yo por mi parte, mediante la ley, he muerto a la ley a fin de vivir para Dios. He sido crucificado con Cristo y ya no vivo yo, sino que Cristo vive en mí. Lo que ahora vivo en el cuerpo, lo vivo por la fe en el Hijo de Dios, quien me amó y dio vida por mí. No desecho la gracia de Dios si la justicia se obtuviera mediante la ley. Cristo había muerto en vano.
Yeah, I just really enjoyed this part, how it says, you know, I think we forget sometimes that Christ, you know, the fact that Christ died for us, it means that He's in us, you know, and I think that's what it says in it. So I just really wanted to use this message to let you know how, you know, sometimes we want things and how our you know, emotionally we may be okay, like we're like, you know, I'm good, I'm serving, you know, at church, there's no highs, there's no low, you're kind of like at a stable place, but inside in your spiritual life, you know, you may be dying, and it's because there is, you know, there's this part in your heart, this part that your spiritual side where it's dying, and you know, you could put up a face at a church, you could be like, I'm okay, I'm good, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but inside you're dying because, you know, there's something that's happened to me before, you know, where, you know, I had this face and I played all the right parts, you know, in church, you know, I did this and I did that, but spiritually I was, you know, at a certain point, you know, there was this part where I felt frustrated, where I was like, I gotta do something different, I have to, you know, do something different, because I didn't realize that there was this part in my heart that I didn't let God have, which was in sense of my, like, the spiritual dreams I had, you know, like maybe you're like, I don't want to do ministry, I don't want to do that, which is fine, completely fine, but, you know, how about if the Lord would say, I don't have that dream for you. I bet a lot of us would just hear, I don't have that dream for you, and you would ignore the part where God says, I have something even better for you. And my thing for you is, what I really just wanted to share in this, and this was to tell you guys, you know, just let go of it, you know, trust God and trust in His perfect timing and His plans, you know. The reason why God says He's going to do it is because He's going to do it, you know. My God is not an unfaithful God. He's faithful, and He's ready to release, like, the blessings that He has. I truly feel that, especially in this time, that God has something so great for this generation, that we've been discouraged and been like so, like, you know, really terrified to do things and hold back because you know, the enemy comes and he puts lies in us. But I not only want this generation to be emotionally okay, but like spiritually okay too. That their dreams and their emotions may be aligned to what God has for them.
Creo que aquí el punto es básicamente de cómo no simplemente vivir por nuestras emociones. Básicamente no debería de ser nuestras emociones, sino debería de ser nuestro lado espiritual, cubriendo todas esas partes, nuestra alma, nuestro cuerpo y nuestro espíritu. Todo eso debe estar alineado espiritualmente y no solamente nuestras emociones. Y como dice en Gálatas 3:20, me llama la atención esto que dice: he sido crucificado con Cristo y ya no vivo yo, sino que Cristo vive en mí. So, para mí, ahorita que dijiste de sueños, no estamos hablando básicamente de sueños, sino de todo en general. Pero básicamente cuando como dice aquí, ya no vivo yo, sino Cristo vive en mí, básicamente es como los deseos de Dios, todos los deseos que Él tiene para nosotros, y no nuestras emociones, porque a veces podemos simplemente estar basado caminando en nuestras emociones y dejar las cosas espirituales al lado. Y también se me vino el verso de Proverbios 3:5 que dice: confía en el Señor de todo corazón y no en tu propia inteligencia. Y creo que I like it better in English. It says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Y como dice, not on your own understanding. Y creo cuando en la palabra que dice en tu propia inteligencia, creo que va en la parte emocional. Y no estamos realmente siguiendo lo espiritual a lo que estamos llamados a hacer.
Yeah, that was so good. Well, she read the verse already in English, but I was just going to say that, your emotions go to your reason, because it's what makes more sense, and I just really like that, what you said. That was so good. When your friends say something like really like smart, and you're just like, I know them, like, because it is true, we based our I was gonna say this. I was thinking about it when I was reading through, the verses and trying to figure out, is that us as young people, this world has taught us that that's what we should live by. You go out, and the way you should look for a girl, the way you should look for a guy, is by what you feel, and not by
what you see.
Or what you see. Yes,
but because you can't feel it, but okay, like I think the feel part, it could be on the spiritual side. Because that's the only way that we feel things.
Yeah.
But I think on your own understanding will be just seeing the outside of it.
So, it's very funny that, time and time again, that's why for us young people, it's really hard, and it's a battle won, when young people decide to like give their life to Christ, because it's so much of like, okay, like you're saying no to like what feels good, the emotions, what's going to feel good like in 5 seconds. And you're saying yes, you've opened your eyes to see the revelation of God is a foundation in your life, and not just something that's going to pass by in a few days. And I think a lot of us treat God as an emotion. Like we find ourselves in a revival for like 5 days, and then the next 5, we just
like what?
Yeah, like it just dies out. And God is not an emotion. He's not someone you could just dump. He's there all the time, and no reason or anything could contradict it. Like that's where your faith comes in.
Yeah. I think most of the times, well, us as young people, I could say I went through that sometimes we just try to pull all the dots together. Oh, this and then this goes along, but like it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and I think that's basically what we have to do. Just live on the spiritual side, and not the emotions. And más que nada ahorita los jóvenes, creo que, o sea, qué emociones no te van por la cabeza. De todo te sucede uno de joven.
Yeah. Which is funny because it is true. I was just talking to a young person right now. He works upstairs from where I work, and he was saying, I do not know how you could do it. And he was like, I don't find the reason as to why you would believe in someone who who or believe in a book that doesn't, you know, like who wrote it? Like man wrote that. Like he's like there's no reason behind it. And I was like, I guess that's why they call it faith. I'm like, and I was like, and that's, if that works for you, that's good. He's like, but as for me, he's like, I don't see how that works because it's just a man. And it made me realize, you know, like how much the world has put into young people's mind that faith and hope and everything good that comes from God is almost like if it was impossible, because there's nothing to really back it off. And if they truly knew, like if their faith, you know, just grew, they would understand that he doesn't need backup. You know, he stands on his own, and you know, God is not a crutch. He's not, you know, your medicine. He's something that's there. He's that one thing that it's your rock. And we want to leave you guys with that, to trust in God in just in general. Like Josie said, I kept on saying dreams, but it's much more than that. You know, it says that Christ is in us. So we should be those I was gonna say portadores, but I don't know.
Portadores de su gloria.
Yeah, yeah, and just walk around and let people know, like, this is what faith is. This is who I trust. You know, some of the plans I have for this year, if I were to tell it behind people that have reason in their mind, they would be like, "That's impossible. Like, you're gonna fail over there, or you're not gonna make it." And the truth is that I'm not saying that I'm perfect and that I'm always thinking, oh yeah, God, you know, like I'm walking, like, you know, sometimes I do feel like Peter, and I feel like, you know, looking around and seeing my circumstances. But I think that's so amazing about that story, and it always impacts me that when I'm going through things or God has given me a specific assignment and I feel like it's impossible, I just feel like, you know, the Lord tells me, like, fix your eyes on me and you'll see that you won't fall, and you'll see that you could walk on over that water. What seems impossible to you, eventually, like, if you just fix your eyes on who's the one that's, like, first of all, walking over it, you'll find out that it's like Josie said, it's not impossible. And you know, I heard something this week that I read, and you know, when you read stuff that are really good and you kind of forget, you kind of, God kind of reminds you through someone, but someone told me on Sunday that how the supernatural should be natural to us. It shouldn't be even called supernatural. It should be something we walk
like
by
for
naturally.
God, it's already like natural, and that
Yeah.
should be like our own thing too.
Yeah, those problems you have financially, that shouldn't be like, if God covers all that debt, that shouldn't be like, oh, I got a supernatural miracle. But to God, that's something like, that's so simple, you know.
That's me.
Yeah, I pray sometimes and I say, like, Lord, like, creator of the universe, you know, this is nothing compared to you. I'm pretty sure you could fix it up for me. And, you know, sometimes we keep on praying like that, and we're like,
Just do it.
just do it already. But, you know, God's, like we always say, God knows the reason why he makes you go through things like that, and the time he fixes your problems, or maybe he doesn't fix them. But I was reminded too again this week that that someone said, well, how do you know that God will do this? And it's like, how about if he doesn't do it? Then then where is he then? And then it's that kind of thing that I'm like, then I'll have faith enough that he'll help me go through this. And sometimes God doesn't make things happen for you to go through something, and you could become stronger. And you know, just do that, and you know, I think that you'll be good on your way. But
I was just thinking how all this, everything that we talk about always goes back to your prayer life. How, you know, if we're living by our emotions means because we're not living on the spiritual side. Because when we do have that relationship when we do have that prayer life, you're always going to be walking by your spirit. Siempre vamos a estar caminando por el espíritu y no por la carne, no por los pensamientos o por los deseos, sino por el espíritu, que quiere decir que nuestro espíritu siempre está alineado con el de Dios. y creo que así como jóvenes, creo que lo que tenemos que hacer, porque yo realmente creo que, y siempre lo decimos, y como les dije al principio, no me voy a cansar de decirlo, yo realmente creo en esta generación que va a ser algo como nunca antes, que realmente va a haber un avivamiento, va a haber una revolución por medio de los jóvenes, que sí somos punta de lanza, y creo que es el momento de que realmente dejemos nuestras emociones al lado y que realmente hagamos realmente lo que es correcto, que es caminar por nuestro espíritu, no por nuestros deseos, sino como dice en Gálatas, ya no vivo yo, sino Cristo vive en mí, y simplemente hacer lo que Él quiera hacer por medio de nosotros.
Amen. So yeah, just going back to what just said about prayer. I just really want to encourage you guys. A lot of us, I feel like we always try to pray in this high tone of voice and God Almighty, and which is fine, but I feel like when you're around someone so much and you're like your really good friend, you don't try to be someone you're not supposed to be around them. You're always yourself around them, and God already knows you to the very deep of your, like, the desires of your heart, that you don't have to imitate to around Him. God already knows you. You don't have to use this different kind of tone of voice. Just talk to Him. 5 minutes, while you're getting your lunch or something. God just enjoys chats.
And we mentioned it, like, you don't have to go to a room. You don't have to go anywhere to talk to God. You can talk to God wherever you are.
Yeah. He's everywhere. I know you guys heard that all the time, but it's just so simple as that.
Do it, you will experience so many things.
Yeah, but we're out of time. And thank you guys so much for being here with us. And see you guys next Thursday.
Yes, simplemente declaramos que vas a caminar realmente por tu espíritu y dejas todas esas emociones al lado. Que tu espíritu siempre está alineado con el de Dios para poder hacer el propósito, los planes y los sueños de Él y no los tuyos. Te bendecimos, declaramos que sigas teniendo un hermoso día y un hermoso fin de semana. Los queremos mucho y los vemos la próxima semana en el mismo canal, la misma hora. Bendiciones.
Diga, te hacemos una invitación a visitar la librería cristiana Vida Nueva del 2909 North Central Avenue en Chicago.